Hello guys, and welcome back to, well, this is the second video. We didn't do too well on the first video, mainly because I think it's like YouTube tagging the algorithms and stuff. So I'm actually just going to make these videos for myself from now on, because it's something I enjoy doing. It's something I enjoy documenting, and I may add these to Facebook and other groups as well. So if you come across them, you know, just drop me a line to say you enjoyed the videos. And there's the Witchblade figure. And the sculpting is quite nice, although, to be honest, if they did a better rendition of it now, they've probably got AI that can scan the comic covers and get the art to look like really good if they did that. Like I said before, I don't support AI. I do use AI for some of my like preview pictures and stuff, but I don't really support it as an actual method for making art. It's just a quick thing to get something done quickly so I can, you know, promote something for my VR chat channels. So yeah, that's Sarah, and she comes with a base, a nice green base. This is the basic version. Oh, actually a bit of paint or something on there. I don't know how that's gone on there. I don't remember that being there. Might be actually inside the box. So that's Sarah. I actually bought two of these because the first one that came, the box was all crushed up. So I contacted the guy and he said, I'll give you a discount on the next one if you want to buy one. So I got one at half price. Next I've got irons. Whoa, I'm going to end up destroying this one. There's irons. So that's the one I would have originally wanted to have ordered when I ordered that set a few years ago. It's a really nice sculpt. It's a very nice figure. His weapon is really pointy. I remember when the original one I bought, when these first came out, I actually broke the tip off of this weapon because it was so pointy and so breakable, and I never did find that piece. So yeah, that's irons. And then I've got this is Ian Nottingham. So they actually made two Ian Nottingham figures. This is the Series 1. So the other two figures from Series 1. And they made a silver variant. And I actually have the silver variant of this one. And I need to buy another one of these. So I've got one loose. So I'll be looking out for one of those soon. And the other figure is the Medieval Witchblade. And I've got like 3 of these loose. And the reason behind I've got 3 of these loose is because I tried to buy some of the other figures that I hadn't got loose, and they came in like little job lots, so I've got like 3 of these. But I need to get a boxed one, so I'm going to try and find a boxed one. I remembered that they did a set of Darkness figures, and when I used to buy comics from Magic Labyrinth back in the late 90s, before they went out of business, they used to have a shop on just off of Rutland Street, between Beaver Street and Rutland Street, which was a shop called Magic Labyrinth. And across the road from it was a discount store. And this discount store, it was like discount clothes and stuff. They had some toys. And I remember that they had a bunch of these in. And I never got round to picking any up. So I managed to find on eBay, and these are really expensive. This Jackie figure goes for like 100 something because it's such a good sculpt. It comes with a really nice base. And the other figures in the set, the Darklings, they fit on this base as well. And they come separately. So I was thinking, oh god, these are going to cost me an absolute fortune. How the hell am I going to afford to get these? And I managed to find a guy selling an entire set of the figures. So you got Jackie, you got Magdalena, and the Darklings. 25 quid. I could not believe it. 25 British pounds for a whole set. I may need to buy another Magdalena because there's creasing on her box. The Darklings are in pretty good condition actually. And so's the Jackie figure. It's in a good condition. So I was quite happy about that. I was like the find of the year, that was. So before we get on to the comics that I've got, just say I also picked up a few things like supplies. So I got 4 really nice printed comic boxes, and I'll just quickly show you those. I've got like 2 of them on the bed. So I've got a couple of Spider-Man ones, Venom one, Daredevil one. So I've got 2 Spider-Mans, a Venom, and a Daredevil. And the Daredevil one was the first one I bought. So let's go into some of the stuff I picked up on my travels. And these were some hardback books, like trade paperbacks. And these are some of the issues that were a lot further along in the series. So I actually got these thinking, oh, maybe these are like the whole collection and stuff. Now these are like issues 130 something to, I want to say 140, something like that. So the original Witchblade run goes up to like 180 something issues, maybe a bit more, before it gets like 190, I think. And it finished in 2000. I want to say around mid 2000s. So I don't know when did this come out. This one came out. This is up to issue 92. So that's issue 92. This one must go up to like. It doesn't say. That's a volume 3. And that is, it's a volume 11, which doesn't make any sense. I think this is when they started doing the Top Cow books, which were like a whole different series of Top Cow books, kind of like those Marvel ones that you could buy in a subscription each month. When they do the, you can buy the whole set of Marvel Spider-Man just for $9.99.99 a month, and your first issue is 50p, that sort of thing. I actually have a few of those somewhere. I don't know where they are. So I've got some hardback books of Witchblade, and I remembered that they did a really terrible series of the Witchblade. If I've got the right one, it was supposed to be a reboot around 2015, and it's about a new wielder. I can't remember her name now. Is it Katrina or something? I can't remember her name. Alex. I'm not sure what her name is. I've not really read it, to be honest, because it is absolutely terrible. The book is absolutely terrible. Somebody said to me, because I bought like an issue when it first came out, and I was like, I really don't like this. I think it was like issue. Yeah, it was issue 6. We've got 2 issue 6s here, so it must be issue 6. So I actually bought that one back in whenever this came out, and I thought, oh, maybe it's like a more up-to-date story about Sarah and the Witchblade. And I did notice the Witchblade looked kind of different in its gauntlet mode. So I gave it a try, and I wasn't impressed with it, and I never went and got any more of them. But now getting back into it, I thought, if it's Witchblade, it's related, I'll pick it up. And I've still got to read them. I've read like the first 2 issues, and to be honest, it's very woke. And I don't want to say this because I'm a Ghostbusters fan, but it's very Ghostbusters 2016, as in it treats a lot of the men as idiots. It's all girl power. It's all about girl power and feminism and stuff like that, which isn't. I've not got any bad harboring feelings about it, but it's always on every single page, every single panel. Men are idiots. Men are idiots. Power to that sort of thing. Whereas when you read the original one, yes, there was a lot of TNA in the original Witchblade series, but they treated Sarah like she was, yes, she was all empowering and, but she was a strong character, she wasn't mopey and wailing all the while. There are a few times when she was a bit, over emotional about stuff, but you know, who wouldn't be when you've got a ancient gauntlet attached to your wrist that can do all sorts of things. And now we're into the new series of Witchblade. And I only found out this series was out maybe like, it was April. So I know it was when I got back into collecting. So it's only been a couple of months. So we're now, what, end of May going into June. And I managed to pick up, and I've nearly got the whole set of the up-to-date stuff at the moment. We're up to issue 21 at the moment. So I managed to get an issue 1, and it's not the image first, which they did recently, where they did it's like a image first of Witchblade and Darkness, and they reprinted issue 1 again a couple of weeks later, with this bar down the side that said image first. So that's issue 1, and issue 2, 3. I'm missing 4. I can't find an issue 4 to save my life. Issue 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 2 8s for some reason. 9. Missing 10. I've got 10 on the way. There's 11, 12, 13. 14 is when we start seeing, I think it's hints of Aphrodite 9. So what's that? That's 14. Missing 15 there. 16. 17. The covers are amazing. 18. And then we've got issue 19, which is Aphrodite 9 in the background. So I've still actually got to read these. So what I've done is I've actually read the collected issues, which are in these. These were like day 1 buys for me, so I could catch up. So this is volumes 1 and 2, and I think that has 4 to 5 volumes in. And that one has issues 6 to 10, I think. I can't tell you because they're in these things, but so far. It's a good story. Little hard to follow sometimes. I don't want to call out Top Cow, but when I was reading volume 1, a lot of it felt like it had been done by AI, as in scenes just jumped between stuff, and maybe it was like jump cuts, whatever, but a lot of it didn't seem to flow. Well, if you read like the original series, a lot of it flows together quite nicely. Not so much with this one. It's got better in volume 2. I read volume 2 in its entirety a couple of days ago. Really enjoyed that one. It's the first time I've actually sat down and read a good, trade paperback, and just thought to myself, this is pretty good. Then we are dipping into some back issues, and I got a lot of Witchblade, and we're actually going to split some of this up. So what I got here was, I got the this is a reprint of a reprint of a reprint. So this is the Image First facsimile version of a facsimile that came out in 2012, something like that. And it was, you can tell it's the facsimile version because it's got the Saga Begins, and the original Witchblade doesn't have this tagline. So this is a reprint of a reprint of a reprint. And then we've got the Encore edition. So this is an original. This is what they printed out a couple of months after the first issue came out, and the second issue. So this is issue 2, Encore edition, and it's basically an issue 2 with a different cover. I've got issue 3. I'm missing issues 4 and 5. I'm trying to get those at the moment, but they are really expensive. And issue 2 is it's a good price, but I'm just a bit like, I don't really want to spend that kind of money on one comic in a month because, you know, limited funds and stuff. That's issue 7. And then I have an issue 8, and then if you watch the previous video, you know I started collecting around issue 9, so I've got issues 9 onwards. And then I also picked up this. This is the Michael Turner Wizard Special, and I've actually got 2 of these. This is one that's actually mint in bag, so I picked up 2 of these so I could have the issue of Fathom Zero. So I've actually got like 3 of those now. Fathom Zero, which is the introduction of Michael Turner's Fathom character, Aspen Matthews. This is really good. It's got a lot of information on Witchblade, a lot of information on Michael Turner, rest in peace. It even shows you how to draw Sarah and the Witchblade, which is really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I bought it, because, you know, I want to learn how to draw the Witchblade. Then we have some other stuff I picked up recently, and this is like a lot of eBay finds. So there's a lot of Witchblade in this stuff. So this came yesterday. This is the Witchblade pinup special, and it's basically just a whole load of panels out of the comic, first few issues, and it's like, you know, stuff from issues 3 and 4. You know, there's a couple of ones from some of the cards and stuff. There's actually one, and it's based off of I think it's the writer Christina Z, and it's a painting of her, like an illustration of her posing as Sarah holding the Witchblade. So that was kind of cool. Just gonna move this one to the side. This one's kind of fragile and you know, very fragile, to be honest. Picking back up with the back issues, we got where I left off. So I got everything up to like issue 59 and stopped for some reason. I think it's because when I met my partner, and we just decided to use our money for other things. So issue 60, 61, 62, and 63. And then after this, a lot of this is duplicated because I bought these in job lots and stuff to get certain issues. It was just cheaper to do this than buy them separately. 2 issues of 64. I then have 3 issues of Witchblade 65. It's a nice cover. 2 issues of 66. And to do that little meme, we got a 6-7. Image 67. I've got 2 issues of 68. 69. And then I've got some stuff like 70. I've got 1 issue of 70. I'm trying to get everything from 70 onwards. So I've got a few little sprinklings of issues after that. So I've got 135, 137, 142, 145, 166. So we're actually getting closer to the end here. So I think we're around like 20 or so issues away from the end. And then I've got the half edition, which I think I had that one a little while ago. So yeah, so that's all the Witchblade stuff. So I'm just going to clear this space out and we'll look at some of the stuff. Okay, so I took a little trip to Nottingham around start of April. My wife had injured her foot and was off from work. So for her rehab, we did a lot of walking to try and strengthen our ankle. And we went to Nottingham for the day. And we found a couple of little comic shops, and I picked up a few of these issues. So I got 2 Evangelines. I do have an Evangeline that I originally owned, which I found in my old box of bins and stuff. So this was a series. It's basically a series about a fallen angel. It's sent to Earth and uses her angel-like powers to thwart evil. So I think Lady Death. That's all that sort of stuff, but without all the gratuitous violence and stuff. I did pick up from my local game shop. They have a comics section upstairs in their level 2 of Super Game Shack, and I managed to pick up some Arcanium. which is a series I had a long while ago, which I think I actually sold these at the car boot sale because I was like, I'm not bothered about this. It's not Witchblade or Darkness. And pick these up. That is really bad. I've only just noticed that. that issue 4 is really battered up. Did not see that. So I may be trying to get another one of that. Not happy about that. And then recently I've been getting into Chaos Comics. Brian Pulido, because I was on a whole, I wonder what figures I used to have when I started collecting. I remember I had the Witchblade figures and Metal Gear Solid figures and Danger Girl figures. Oh yeah, I had a Lady Death, and I never got around to actually buying Lady Death, because it was like whenever they came in the comic shop, they were gone instantly. You know, it was the whole TNA thing again. You know. And one of their spin-off characters from Chaos Comics was Purgatory. So I've got this issue here, which is, I think it's Purgatory, I can't remember, it's Empire or something like that. It's got a weird tagline, I can't remember the name of it, but nice artwork, story's okay. And it got me thinking, oh, maybe I should buy a Lady Death book. And they only had one in stock at my local Forbidden Planet, and it had probably been sat on this shelf for years because it was in the sales section. And obviously, these guys, Forbidden Planet, they don't sell Lady Death anymore. This was, I think, it was a 2015 book, which means it's been sat on this shelf for over 10 years, collecting dust. But it was in immaculate condition, and it was actually signed by Mike Wolfer, Marcelo Mueller, and another guy as well. I thought it was actually signed by Brian Pulido, but apparently he only signed like 500 of a different version. This was like a super high, super cover version of this one. So there's been going, oh, I got it signed by the creator, and no, it's not. It's just signed by these two guys. So I was a bit like, oh, it's a shame. So some Chaos Comics we started to dabble into. And then I managed to get a couple of issues of Fathom. So I've actually got some Fathom. I'm actually missing a few. I think there's like 20 issues of the original run. That was before, obviously, Michael Turner passed away. I think Aspen Studios was made after that, and they continued the story on with a different company publisher. So I've got an issue. This is an issue 4. This is the one I originally had. And it's this very nice aqua kind of turquoisey look. And Super Game Shack, Rich from Super Game Shack, was sorting through some comics. He got some like slab comics, which are basically those ones that are in the acrylic backs. You know, they're graded comics. And there was a guy I want to call, he was a comic aficionado, as in he knew what he was doing. He was going through all these back issues. He got a little magnifying glass and a little checkbook, and he was like making little checks in his book, going, oh, I need to get this one, I need to get this one. And Rich comes up and he's got a whole load of these Virgin cover of Vampirella, and he had a couple of other ones as well, very very much like the Bad Girl comics. And this guy just snapped his arm off, just, oh, I'm having those. And as he's flicking through, I see that. And I thought, oh, I've already got an issue 4, but it looks in much better condition. So I said, how much? And he said, oh, £2-3, Dave. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll have that off of you. So I paid for it. And got home, and I put it in the bin, in the back issues. And I thought, hang on a minute, the colour looks different. And then I noticed this guy here, and that's a Darkling, I think. That's a Darkling. So I got a variant cover, and it actually turns out this variant cover is worth more than the originals. It's only by about £4 or £5 more, but it's a variant cover. So I was a bit like, yay! And variant cover that I didn't know I needed, and I've got. You can actually tell there's a slight difference in the way they cut the image as well. It looks like it's like zoomed in more. So yeah, I don't know if they did like some digital sort of like laid these guys on top. There's obviously these fish. There's another dark. I think that's a darkling. No, that's another fish. So there's some weird fish and a darkling snorkeling underwater. So that's kind of cool. And then obviously we've got that issue of Fathom, which I mentioned, the Fathom Zero, which came in that Wizard special. So this is the Wizard Zero Fathom, and it's just an introduction and a couple of images of like pin-up art and stuff like that. Now we are getting into the new series of the Darkness. So this is everything I have up to date. So far, if I keep this up, I'll have the whole set once this volume's over and done with. But I've got issue 1 and issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, and 3 of the Darkness and Jealous. And this is like it's a short compendium of different stories about the Darkness and Jealous over the years of being around. There are so many variant covers going around now. When they re-release the Darkness, there's like 6 different covers of this. 3 of that one, I think, 3 of that one, and there's like 2 of the other ones as well. I've been trying to get the variant covers. So obviously when I placed my orders with Forbidden Planet, I said, oh, can you make sure you get the variant covers as well for me? But the last few issues of like what I've been picking up, Witchblade and Darkness, they've only been giving me the 1. So I'm a bit like, where's the other one? And one issue of the Witchblade, I was expecting a certain cover. They gave me the cutesy kind of cherry blossom cover of issue 21, so I've had to order in a 21 with a regular cover. And then we're going to get into our back issues of the Darkness. So we'll start off with a Image Firsts. This was, for some reason this cost me £2, but I know these were being sold for $1, which is like 75p over here, 80p, something like that. So I got marked up on this one, and it had only been out like March, so they'd already increased the price on that one by a couple of quid. So I was a bit annoyed about that one. We've got some originals. Oh, and I'm dropping books. I'll just sort these out. So some of these I think I showed in the previous video. So I've got a Darkness 2. And there's a couple of variant covers of this one as well somewhere. I can't remember if I've actually got these in here, but issue 3, issue 4. I'm just going to put these over here. Issue 5 I think I showed off in the previous video. 6, 7, 8. I think I started with 8 when I started my original run, because I think I remember that cover. And then we've got the Family Ties, which I mentioned in the previous video. 11, 12, 13, 14, 2 issues to 15 for some reason. I don't know why I've got 2 of those. 16, 17, nice cover. Issue 18, a really nice cover. 19, the minimalist one I don't like. Cover number 20, I love that one. 21, I'm missing 22, so I've got a 23, issues 24, and then we miss 25, 26, we go for 27. This is one I got a couple of days ago, that's 29, and then we got an issue 30, and then I have an issue 40, so I'm actually missing everything from 30 to 40. And then I've got this one I found at Super Game Shack. I got that for £2. It's Darkness versus Wolverine. And then, because I was missing those 23 and 24 of the original run, I ordered what I thought was the same volume. And this is actually from volume 2. So this is when, after Jackie's died, he's been resurrected. These are the final 2 issues of Volume 2. So I've only got to get up to 24 issues, which is kind of cool. So I just need to find those ones and finish that set. So that is everything so far. It's been a quick run through of those back issues, but there we go, guys. That's it for today. If there's anything you've seen in the video you want to talk about, or any information on how I get the comics, stuff like that, just drop me a line below, and I shall see you all in the next one.